Veterans Day here at SAC is a time to honor the people in our community and the family and friends we have that have sacrificed so much for us and for our freedom and for our country. And we want kids to know that it touches lives here every day.
Well, Veterans Day is a very special holiday to me. My father served 28 years in the armed forces. First 4 years of his career, he was in the Army and spent one of those years in the Korean War. And then when he got out, he re-enlisted in the Air Force and spent 24 years in the Air Force, with 2 of those years being in the Vietnam War.
My husband is a prior service Marine, and he served for 4 years. He was military police. His second tour was in Iraq for 7 months. One of the scariest stories he told me happened toward about 3 weeks before he was scheduled to come home. They were crossing the Euphrates and they were basically on rafts inside of armored vehicles and getting shot at.
My father-in-law was in the Air Force and my husband in the Army Reserves. So he has been in the reserves for 31 years and he retires December 1 and has been in many different locations in the reserves and is retiring as a lieutenant colonel, which is exciting for him.
My son Eric served 6 years in the armed forces, and he spent a little over a year, about 18 months in Iraq. And as a mom, I'll be honest, it was so scary. You never knew, there's very few times you could get phone calls, and then you never knew where he was because it was so secretive at the time because it was a war. But probably the happiest day for our entire family is when he came home, and then we knew that he wasn't going to serve anymore as far as overseas. So.
think Veterans Day is an opportunity, just like many of the holidays that we have that celebrate different things that have happened in this country. It's an opportunity to become more aware of your history. As you learn that history, appreciate the choices that that men and women have made to go in and fight and serve this country, because it's not an easy choice. The idea of laying your life down for some greater cause is very stressful, especially when you have a family at home. But these men and women choose to do that for various reasons, and it's important to honor that sacrifice.
We need to think about the men and women who chose. We don't no longer have a draft, so they choose to go into the military. Less than 1% of our population chooses to go into the military. Less than 1%. And so 1% of our population is protecting us. Think about that. And they defend our Constitution, sacrifice their lives to defend our Constitution. So for me, Veterans Day is a very important date to honor. It's not just a day off. It's a day to say thank you and to recognize not only the soldier, but the families and their children who sacrifice as well.
My father's service to our country was, first of all, very important to him, and he eventually gave his life for our country, and that's why Veterans Day is so important to me. All the men and women throughout the years that have given the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom.
There's parts of the military that people don't understand. You're not always holding a gun and fighting, but you're serving people in a humanitarian way. So Veterans Day to me probably encompasses so much more than just the fighting for our freedom, but it's fighting for the freedom across the world and the freedom of basic human rights. And I think we always just need to stop and ponder how blessed we are to live in this country, that we are built in a way that we can help others and that we are taught to serve others in every capacity.